Welcome back. Throughout the year, as part of our County to County project, we're following 5 key counties and 5 swing states that we believe will help us tell the most about where the presidential election is headed. These counties represent different voting groups. They're not all supposed to be 50-50 counties. Some of these are turnout counties that we're watching. So, for instance, our County to County project includes a largely white working class county, a majority Hispanic county, and this week we traveled to Milwaukee County to talk to African-American voters. In 2016, Donald Trump won nearly 3,500 fewer votes in Wisconsin than Mitt Romney did in 2012. And yet, he took the state because Hillary Clinton won 231,000 fewer votes than President Obama. Much of that Democratic falloff came among African-American voters in Milwaukee County. So we asked my colleague Dante Chinney to go to Milwaukee, where he sat down at Good City Brewing with 5 African-American voters to discuss how they're feeling about the 2020 election so far, including the lack of candidates of color still in this race.
I think we've relied on identity politics in the past. We've relied on how to attract black voters is to get a black candidate. How to attract women voters is to get a woman candidate. But folks are really struggling. They want someone that's going to raise wages. They want someone that's going to address student debt and affordable college and affordable housing and prison reform and immigration reform. And unfortunately, some of our minority candidates weren't speaking about those issues. And that just goes to show no one's going to vote for you just because they look like you or identify with you. They're going to vote for those that are going to fight on their behalf.
I think we're relegated now to just the fact that we need a candidate that can beat the current president. Instead of the important issues, instead of qualifications, now who can beat the current candidate or the current president? And so that's sad to me that we have kind of pushed aside the other candidates and their qualifications. And again, I agree, initially people were excited about the wide scope of candidates, those of color, although that's not always the key, but at least we had some choices. But now I think our voice has been limited.
Yeah. Look, Milwaukee, they didn't get the turnout it needed or the turnout Democrats wanted in 2016 to win the state. It's one of the reasons Hillary Clinton lost Wisconsin. She didn't come here. Does it make a difference who the candidate is in terms of being able to get the vote out?
At this point, it may be centered on who the candidate's running mate will be, because the assumption is it's going to be Biden, who stood up on the stage, and the only time they mentioned anything black was they were each trying to outdo each other, said, I have black support and I have black support. And Biden stood there and said, I have more black support than any of you or all of you combined. I think older black voters will heavily lean towards Biden. You know, black people have been protesting against Warren. You know, Mayor Pete doesn't even have support in his own community. I mean, you can go down the line on that. So if you want to engage and excite the black vote, Biden needs to bring in a black running mate.
I mean, but
Well, I don't know.
Okay, no. I can't, I wouldn't necessarily, I respectfully disagree with that. I think it's going to come down to who speaks to our issues. You have to speak to our issues. Around this country in black communities, it's void of investment, it's void of redevelopment. And when you look at the central city and you realize if any of those people in that community want to go to the movies, they have to leave that community.
Right.
If they want to go bowling, they have to leave that community. If they want to go roller skating, they have to leave that community. If they want to go to a nice restaurant, they got to leave that community. When you talk about real robust economic development, where that plan is, that's what you need to speak to for the black vote, not just in Milwaukee, but in central cities around this country.
And I think that's why Bernie Sanders does so well here, more specifically when he talks about issues like health care, affordable health care. When you're speaking about black businesses, a lot of folks aren't able to start businesses or willing to leave their jobs to start businesses because they can't afford to pay for their own health care. They can't afford to pay for their employees' health care. And so when I talk about issues being more important, I don't think it's going to be a black VP that's going to engage the voters.
I'm still praying.
I think it's going to be someone that's absolutely speaking to the issues and showing a true vision on how to improve people's everyday lives.
So are you hearing, but it sounds like you're not hearing that you don't think you're hearing that from any of the Democratic candidates, or at least the big 4+1.
That's the value of the black candidate I'm talking about. I mean, put Castro in there. He was talking about police brutality.
Absolutely.
He was talking about some of those concrete issues. Some of the other candidates just come off being elitist, looking down. But the key is going to be, will there be enthusiasm to pull that turnout, to pull those young black millennials and those people who don't traditionally vote that Barack Obama pulled? I don't see it yet.
I see something. Go ahead, yeah, please.
I think I see something different. Instead of waiting for a candidate to speak to our issues, we need a candidate that's going to listen to us when we speak, because we actually are living the life and we see the disparities. And a candidate that's going to take black voices as credible ones and take what we say when they come to our cities and they do their rallies, are they going to take what we are saying, we've been saying for generations, and put that into policy instead of waiting for someone to just echo what we already know? I guess that's what I'm waiting for. The thing about Biden, who is the candidate that I'm more likely to support, is he angers the progressives. In fact, I'm so nervous that if Biden becomes a nominee, which it appears he will be, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to stay home. And everybody says, vote blue no matter who. No, they're not. They're not going to.
I mean, the trepidation is that people are fearful of what's going to happen. But what I've been hearing is that people will change this time and get behind the nominee no matter what, the Democrat nominee. That's the key. And so we've been pushing from the angle that please just vote. We can fix things later. We can talk to them, but get behind the nominee right now.
Look, President Trump says he has growing support among African American voters. You're here, you're in the community. What do you see? What do you hear? I mean,
he had 4 and now he has 5.
I think it's stronger than that. And I also hear a lot of folks talking about the economy. Look, I know it does not work for everybody, but somebody bought a house in the last 4 years. Somebody got a promotion in the last 4 years. Somebody got a raise in the last 4 years. And so if they attribute any economic success to this current president, I think that's troublesome from the Democratic nominee, because a strong economy is really, really tough to beat.
And for transparency's sake, and then some, the entire focus group interview is on our website, meetthepress.com. Hello from Washington, I'm Chuck Todd, and thanks for checking out the Meet the Press channel on YouTube. Click on the button down here to subscribe, and click over here to watch the latest interviews, highlights, and other digital exclusives.